Hello and welcome to another Chipro tutorial video. In this video, we'll be talking about the Design Manager. We'll be explaining everything about it and how to use it in detail to get your designs ready. So this is the interface of the Design Manager. I'll explain everything starting from the hierarchy till the different actions and buttons and how to use everything in it. So let's start by talking about the hierarchy. We have at the top of our hierarchy, we have the projects. Under that, we have libraries. Then under that, we have cells. And under that, we have the different views which come under the cells. In the middle, we have something called categories. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's leave it hidden for now. By the way, you can control to view or hide any of the levels in the hierarchy using these buttons. You can show or hide the projects, you can show or hide the libraries, and you can just customize the GUI to look however you want. We also have these different actions which may look like that by default. You can change it to look like that, or you can have it expanded. We'll talk about these different actions in a minute. Let's just start by talking about the hierarchy. At the very top, we have the projects. You can start by creating a project, and we can call this a test project. You can give an optional description. You do not have to write that, but let's just write anything for now. And you can choose a PDK. We have only one installed here. We'll talk about PDKs in a minute, but let's not attach this to a PDK for now. So once we created this project, it will show up here under the generic category. It showed under generic because we did not choose a PDK. If we chose a PDK, it would show up under the category of that PDK. We will see that after we talk about the adding PDKs option. Let's just for now add a new library under that. Let's call this a test library. And as I said, the description is optional. You do not have to write it. Let's just create this library. And under that, let's create a test cell. So this is our hierarchy. You have a project. A project can have multiple libraries, and each library can have multiple cells. We have different views which we can create under each cell. These are our different views. We will take a look at each of them. You can also perform cell operations. We will talk about that, edit, copy, move, and you can also change the category or delete the cell overall. Let's just start by creating a schematic view. You just press on the schematic and create the schematic, and it will show up here under the views of the cell. Once you click on that, you'll see that you have this button here. You can choose the version of the tool you want to use. But for now, we only have one version supported. We plan to extend that in the future. So let's trigger open in XSchem. This will open the schematic editor with the file, and you can start playing around with it. So this was the schematic view. Let's switch to another view. For example, let's talk about the layout. The layout will open KLayout also in a new window here. You can see that this is KLayout, and you can start designing and using your layout. We'll talk about that again when we add the PDKs, but let's just skip this for now. We also have netlist, verilog, and liblane. As you can see, liblane is disabled here because you have to have your project attached to a PDK for you to run liblane. Let's create a verilog view. Verilog views use VS Code. You can open it, and you can see the placeholder here, which you can change with your Verilog code. We also have Mohit Coder here, which supports AI to use to build anything you want. We'll talk about that also in another video. So let's go back. So this is everything about the hierarchy, the views, and the basic introduction to how to use the system. So let's take a look now at the actions. We have different actions here, ranging from adding a PDK. You can import your data, export, or create different versions for your designs. For now, let's just take a look at the most important feature, which is adding a PDK. I've already installed GF180A. Let's start by looking at the other variants. These are the supported PDKs for now. We can install Sky130A. Let's install this. It will show up the logs here, and the progress will be shown. You can wait for it to finish, or you can just close it and not wait for the progress to be done, and it will be done in the background, and you can just go do something else. So we have here the import and export. You can just import a zip file, which you have exported from our system following the same format, and it will show your different projects here. The version history, you can create a commit, you can create a version. We'll take a look at that after we create a new project with our installed PDK. So if you go here and you create a new project, if it's already done, you will see that it shows up here. If you want to check on the progress, you can add a PDK, and you can go here to Sky 130. It was already done now. So once you go back here, and you create a new project, you can see that it will show up here under the PDKs option. So here you have Sky 130A, and let's call this a Sky project. So this creates a project under the Sky category. If we created one under GF, so let's call this a GF project, and let's assign it to GF, and let's create a new project. So now you can just like hide all the different categories and only show the one you're concerned about for now. So let's create a library under that. Let's call this GF library, and let's create under that a GF cell. So this is the same hierarchy we showed, but here you can create the views attached to a PDK, and you can also see that the labeling option was enabled here. We'll talk about labeling in another video, but let's just give a brief introduction here. So let's, for example, create a layout. We will create a layout here, and once you go here and open this in K-Layout, you'll see that it loads the GF technology with the layers, and everything is ready for you to just go ahead and start designing your layout. So let's close this. You can also go full screen if you want, but let's just keep it that way for now. For LibreLane, you need to have a Verilog view. Let's create a Verilog view and then create a LibreLane configuration file. This creates a LibreLane configuration file. We will not talk about the details of it now, but you can view old runs from here with the logs. We'll talk about that in another video. You can run LibreLane, you can trigger run. This will fail for sure because we haven't set any of the configurations. You need to modify the configurations. We'll give a complete tutorial about LibreLane in another video. You can also open the configuration in VS Code and modify it and play around with it. Here you have all the default options which you can change to meet your requirements. So that's it for the different views and the usage of PDKs. You can export a design. This downloads a tar file, which you can import later to, let's say if you migrate from one version to another, or you wanna like give a colleague some version of your work, you can do that. You can export and import it later. You can also create different versions. So let's open this Verilog code and let's test the versioning and show it here. Let's say this is the first version, and let's save this. Let's close it. So when we go back here, we can create our first commit or our first version of this. You can choose whatever you want. Let's just choose the whole library for now. And let's say that this is the first version. And let's commit our changes. So this created our first version. So we can go ahead here and let's change this to the second. So this is the second version, and we can close this. And we can go back. If we open this now, you can see that this is still the second version. So we can go back here and we can check the version history. We can create a new version with the different version. We can see that it is modified. So let's call this is the second version. And we can create a new version. So we can now go back to the version history. We can see that we have the first version here. If you want to revert to it, you can just restore here, and this will reload. And once you go here, you'll see that you switched back to the previous version. So this is just a basic introduction on how to use versioning and how to keep different versions of your designs so you don't lose progress or anything like that. So this is it for the main functionality of and all the different GUI options for the design manager. One thing we haven't talked about, and we will end this video with, the categories. You can create different categories. So by default, we have an everything category, which will include all the cells here, and an uncategorized, and this will include all the cells which do not belong to a custom-made category made by the user. So what does that mean? So to see this, let's create another cell. Let's call this a second cell, and let's create this cell. So by default, this goes under the everything category and also uncategorized, because they are both still uncategorized. So let's create a new category and let's call this a test category. And we can go to any of these. Let's go to the GF cell and let's change the category of it, and let's assign it to the test category. So you can see that they are both still under everything. They will always be under the everything category, but only second cell is now uncategorized. So when you click on uncategorized, this is the only uncategorized cell, and we can see that the GF cell switched to be under the test category. So this is just a utility for you to manage your cells if your project scales, but by default you can just hide that and not use it if you find it complicated. Another feature you can see is you can copy, edit, or modify. This is just basic functionality, but let's show how to copy and move a cell or a view from one library to another. So let's create another library here. Let's call this a test library 1, and let's create another one, call it test library 2. So we have this here. We can choose this GF cell. Let's select it, and you can choose it like that, and you can copy it, and you can move it here, and you can paste it from this button. This shows the source, the target, and you can just paste it here. And as you can see now, you have another version of GF cell, and when you open it here, you will see that this is the first version which we created and we modified later. We also can move, like let's say we can select this one and we can select it that way, or you can just right click on it and go and choose the move option. You can go here now and you can paste, and once you paste it here, you'll see that this now does not have the GF cell. We moved it to this cell. So this is it for this video. We covered everything about the design manager and the basic usage, how to move around, how to play with categories, projects, the hierarchy, the PDKs. If you find anything complicated or you don't understand anything, please leave your questions in the comments below and wait for the next videos. Thank you.